Welcome to Buckle Up Podcast Universe with Brandon Rush.
And welcome back to the Buckle Up Podcast Universe with Brandon Rush and Mama Rush. If you don't know me personally, I'm actor Brandon Rush. I've been in 81 TV shows and movies with I've been in 81 TV shows and movies. And then back in April, I launched this podcast with my mom, Mama Rush. Since then, April 9th of 2025, we have done 130 episodes as of today. We are in 75 countries in 828 cities around the world. Yes, I'm quite excited about that. And that's all because of you all, the amazing guests that we've had on the show, and people around the world that have been watching. We have 18.8 million viewers and listeners around the world as well. We resonate with people. We like having people on here from all over the world. So if you're ever interested in being a guest on this podcast, feel free to reach out to me. You can DM me at Brandon Rush with 2 H's on Instagram. So that is BrandonRushH, or on our Buckle Up podcast page, which is BuckleUpPodcast. Sorry, one of my friends just wrote me, Christopher Nagel, who we'll hopefully have on here in the near future. So once again, that is Buckle Up Podcast, which is BucklePodcast. I see him writing me in the corner up here. But yeah, we're excited about how this year is going so far. We have filmed 8 episodes since being back. Today, we have a dear friend of mine on here named Brian Garbe, who is a credit analyst and works as he's a credit analyst. What can I say? And we're going to have him on here talking about finance, which we're excited to have Brian here. Brian is I consider him one of my best friends in the world. I was very blessed to meet Brian back in 2022. So my dad passed away from pancreatic cancer, and I was going through a rough patch. And one of my best friends in the world, Carter Kinsella, invited me out to Arizona just to, get my mind clear and try and get over, the depression I had, which happens if you lose, when you're going through grief of losing a parent, which is something that we all have to go through. So during that time, Carter introduced me to a lot of his boys out in Arizona. He said, Brandon, you're going to absolutely love these guys. So at the time I met, Brian was one of the first people I met, Gabe, Matt, and several of his other friends. I apologize for not knowing your name right off the bat, or if I can't remember right at the moment. But Brian is one of those guys who, just from the first moment of meeting Brian, within the first 15 minutes, I'm like, I like this guy. I like this guy a lot. He's funny. To be honest, he kind of reminds me of, I always say that Brian's like the white version of me. That's the running joke we have amongst our friends, that always call Brian the white version of me. He's just one of those guys that's just great. He is loyal. He is someone you can count on. I mean, every single time I go to Arizona, Brian always shows up no matter what. And that means the world to me, the fact that he always shows up. Even when I'm not in Arizona, he calls in to check and see how I'm doing, or for us just to catch up, see how each other are doing. But Brian's just one of those guys that you want to have in your corner. I feel like if things are going bad, he's one of those people that will show up no matter what. And that's important quality to have. And I think in friends, brothers, and people that generally care for you. So excited to have Brian on here today. I will actually be doing more episodes with Brian going forward. Just us just catching up and talking different subjects, man. I talked to him last night on FaceTime, and we ended up just cutting up and talking about different subjects that were just great. And like at the end of it, we're like, why didn't we just record this too? Because it would have been great. Because we ended up talking. I didn't realize it was 35 minutes. Just that's how fast it flew, but it was so entertaining. So I'll be doing more episodes with Brian in the near future. Also, if you're interested in being one of our sponsors for our podcast, we're more than happy to have you on here. Feel free to reach out to me either through Instagram or through the podcast. You can write me however, or if you would like to be a guest on this show, feel free to DM me, because I love meeting people from around the world. That's how we've been able to get so many guests from around the world. I've met so many people doing my travels, working all over the country in the United States. And even I went over to England back in September. I was there for a month and I met some new guests that have been coming on the show that are absolutely outstanding. So feel free to reach out to me if you would like to be on podcast, the Buckle Up Podcast Universe with Brandon Rush and Mama Rush. With that being said, we'll get ready to welcome Brian Garbe here in just a few minutes while we go to commercial break. Did none of that record? Because that'd be funny. Brian, what is up, my man?
How are you, Brandon?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Brian, this is your first. Well, first off, I want to say welcome to the Buckle Up Podcast universe with Brandon Rush and
Mama Rush. Hey, Brian.
Beautiful.
Brian.
Thank
First
you.
off, man, before we even start, I just want to let you know how much I personally just love you, man. I did a brief intro before you came on here, and I was just saying how I consider you one of my best friends in the world. At the time when I had lost my dad, I met you through Carter, and within the first 15 minutes of meeting you, we just hit it off. I even said the fact that I call you the White Brandon. But you were a friend who has just shown up for me long after me. Every time I'm in Arizona, you always come to the house or wherever I'm at. You always meet me wherever I'm at. You always make an effort to come see me, and that means the world to me. And then long after that, you always call and check in and see how I'm doing. So that kind of friendship and brotherhood, man, I absolutely appreciate, and I thank you for.
Have a shape towards good people. I think you got a good sense of self and everything else. And I don't, you know what? I'd like to say some bad things about you, but you and far between. So I'm glad to consider you a friend as well.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, bro, it's gonna be all about you. We're excited to have you on here, Brian. Excuse me, let me make sure I'm recording. I think I have. Yeah. Brian, it's all about you today, man. Would you please tell for our audience at the Buckle Up Podcast universe what it is you do for a career?
So I'm in commercial finance. So I sell money. Pretty clean and simple. I've been in banking for the last 22 years, and banking is a very interesting industry, right? It's highs and lows and everything else. And I always think it's funny. It's when you don't need money, I'll give it to you. When you need money, I won't.
Yeah.
I love it.
But I'm all about relationships. At one point, I worked for the second smallest bank in Arizona, and it was fun. And from there, I went to one of the largest financial institutions in the world, which was Chase. And that was interesting as well. And then I ended up landing somewhere in the middle. So regional banking, kind of relationship building is my thing.
Okay.
But I've been doing it a while. I enjoy it. You know, I got a good feel of it, but it's even, I'm an intermediary of such.
Okay.
So that, you know, I got clients that I'm trying to help. And then you have what people don't see is the back end.
Yeah.
Which I don't like as much, which is the corporate side. So you got to fight, you know.
Mm-hmm.
In banking, especially lending, we call it like the light and the dark side.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I am the light.
Yeah.
Trying to help people, but then and it needs to be in place, right? So that things stay under control because we're highly regulated.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So, mom. So, Brian, break this down. This photo behind you. Before I get back to that subject.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask about, that photo behind you, and tell us a little bit about that. Mama Rush wants to find out a little bit about your school, the scholarships you received going to ASU, I believe it is. And so we want to hear about that picture behind you first. I love it, and I have a meaning, but I want you to explain to our audience about that picture that you have.
I talked to Brandon a little bit. It's kind of a conversational piece. So it's how do you interpret it, right? It's lions and sheep.
Mm-hmm.
However, is the lion rising above the sheep? Right? Is the lion leading the sheep?
Mm-hmm.
Is the lion protecting the sheep? It's all up to interpretation, which makes it fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
My mom, and she kind of taught me, like, everybody looks at things a little different way, and she taught me to appreciate those kinds of things. So, What do you?
Well, before I tell you what I see, and Brandon, you can tell what you see there, and I love your interpretation 3 different ways you can actually see that picture. But I want to say something to you. I understand that you ran track at your university and you're outstanding runner.
I was. So in my junior year of high school, I posted, I think, the 6th fastest time in
Mhm.
the United States. And then I ended up getting to Arizona State,
Mhm.
and I ran with these guys. And Division I sports is no joke.
Yeah.
These guys are dedicated. I ended up with a stress fracture, so I stopped running. That's the excuse. However, these guys are dedicated.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I stopped running, and a couple of years later, it's funny, I saw a lot of my teammates in the Olympics.
Oh, wow. So they're the best in the United States.
I'm an Olympic athlete.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You do?
Wait, do I know an Olympic athlete?
No. Do you think I would be an Olympic athlete?
You know what?
Yeah.
You're in great shape, Brian. So maybe not. But I think you're in great shape. So I could be wrong.
Yeah, I ran my best time ever. I ran a mile in 4:09.
Oh, wow. Then yeah, I think you probably could have been in the Olympics.
No, no way. No way. These guys are running. Sorry about that.
He's breaking up a bit, Brandon.
Sorry, Brian, you're breaking up a little bit over there.
Oh, am I? All right.
Mhm.
Sorry about it.
It's all good. I think his daughter's there. I think that too, right?
Okay.
Oh, you're good, Brian. You're good.
I ended up being kind of a nerd. So I got, at the end of the day, I've got 4 degrees.
Wow.
Mhm.
It's a master's in finance.
Wow.
Brandon, you know me. I'm a nerd, right?
Yeah.
Nerd.
Well, nerds run the world.
Yeah, they do. And not only that, Brian, I've seen you're doing all right for yourself. I've read The
That's
Great Nerd.
correct.
It's doing all right for myself, and it's been as successful as you have, and had the things that you've worked hard for to get to where you are. So it's paid off.
Well,
Mhm.
you know, like you and I have discussed, different walks of life, right?
Yeah.
Not everybody takes the same path.
Mhm.
So I did, I've gone the finance route and a lot of school and everything else. You've got your successful acting career. And it's like, but at the end of the day, I believe that people like you and I get along
Mhm.
because we're good people.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, that's the baseline, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
absolutely.
We can relate on a multitude of issues and everything else, and get along, have fun, and you're a creative guy.
Yeah.
I'm still probably of a math guy, so I'm the nerd, and you're an attractive, charismatic individual.
Thanks, Brian.
You'd probably be better in sales than I am.
Well, you know what, Brian? It's when it comes. Actually, it's interesting about the movie business itself. It is. I'm let's say I am marketing myself when I'm going to these auditions and stuff like that. That's a business. They're saying, hey, is this person going to bring a certain amount of? Is he marketable? Will he be able to get this audience? Is he able to relate? Will our audience agree with him? So yeah, I am in sales in a way, kind of like that. But also, Brian, the question I had to ask you was this: what made you want to do finance? What drew you to the world of finance? Like, why was that the route that you went?
I fell into it. So coming out of school, there were a couple different paths. So I graduated the first time in 2006, and back then, I had I had a degree in supply chain management, and I had a degree in finance, and I interviewed on both sides.
Okay.
And the mortgage industry was going crazy at that time. And talking to those people, I remember going to some weird places for the supply chain and figured out if you're going to be in supply chain, you're going to be in a very small town in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
That is not a good fit.
Yeah.
I'm from Southern California, right?
Mhm.
Came over to Scottsdale. I'm not moving to Wickenburg or came in, got offered a job. In fact, it's kind of funny. So the first job I took was in accounts payable for Circle K.
Really?
I lasted 2 days. On the second day, a guy from a bank called me and offered me a job.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, hey, sorry. But I was out of there, went over to the bank.
Oh, Brian, you cut out there for a second. Oh, yeah, your sound's cut off, Brian. Hold on one second. I don't know why I can't hear you. Let's see here. I'm gonna pause it for 1 second, Brian, because I can't hear you. Let me see what's going on. It might be. Hold on 1 second. Pause.
See if you hit the.
Brian, you're back. Sorry, we lost your sound there for some reason.
Let's see here. Hold on.
Okay.
No, I ended up getting.
Okay, now we can hear you, Brian. You were saying that you lasted for you quit the Circle K job after 2 days, and then you because you got another job offer.
Yeah. And I learned that I was in their corporate office. And then I went and joined a bank, learned a lot as a credit analyst. And then the financial crisis hit.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, you learn more in the hard times than you do in the good.
Amen. Absolutely.
I agree with that. So go ahead.
I jumped around a little bit, finally found a spot, and been doing the lending thing ever since.
Okay.
Regional banking. I mean, my whole thing was I always wanted to build relationships with people to help them grow, right?
Yeah.
A lot of finance people, they're in it for themselves. They want to make money.
Yeah, you're right. That's the unfortunate part, but yeah.
And I do get paid well. I get compensated for my efforts, but I'm more about helping others. And I've had clients that I've watched over the years grow tremendously, and I've had an impact on that. And it makes me feel good at the end of the day.
Absolutely. You got to.
And these are people that will stick with you. So.
Well, you got a good heart, Brian. And I love where you're coming from with that. That's important to have, especially because people go through good times, people go through difficult times. And Brian, I want to ask you a question too along those lines of credit, because we have people with so many different backgrounds. A lot of people don't understand even when it comes to, let's say, credit, like whether you should start. Let's say if you have a kid that is going into college, for instance, should you give that kid a credit card and to help them build their own credit? Because a lot of people from different backgrounds come not knowing anything about credit cards, not knowing much about credit, and then whether they should have a credit card and credit score. Those are all important things that matter. I believe it matters just what things you're trying to get.
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny because you get a lot of these guys that are the gurus and everything else of finance, but in my experience, credit and all these things are they're very personal, right? It depends on your own situation, because they're all very unique. Give a kid a credit card, but make sure that it's limited, and it will teach them to learn how to budget, those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it's like real estate, right? Real estate's local. I mean, there's certain lessons that you're trying to instill. So my approach would be, it's to give a man a fish versus teaching a man how to fish. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So, financing is very interesting, and I find it to be very personal. So it depends on the individual and their situation and everything else. But, I'm a believer in teaching, so teaching, budgeting, how to manage money. And I think that's an area that schools could probably improve in.
Okay.
You remember, Mama Rush, you remember back in the day when they used to teach home ec?
Yes, and I loved home economics. I
That was,
love that subject. I think they should have always included trades within the educational process because my daddy taught mechanical drawing and industrial arts. You remember industrial arts? And so, yes, I do remember, and it was just so much fun. I learned how to sew and be a better cook, and I remember those things to this day. So you're right to bring that up.
yeah, and I think some of those things more life skills, you know,
And
Yeah.
need to be included in the education system. But who am I to make that decision?
well, the thing is, as long as we keep that mindset and keep on bringing it up, for instance, in the podcast, and people think about that, then resources may be allocated a different way. And so we have to keep it at the forefront. I agree with you on that, Brian. And so what I wanted to see and what I want to talk about more too, about you being that numbers guy. I can see you've been a numbers guy all through life. Oh, by the way, did you take home economics?
No, but
I wish a guy had been in our class. Guys
I
should take home economics.
took ceramics.
Oh,
You
I
know,
took
I took musical history,
uh-huh.
construction 101,
Mm-hmm.
kinds of things. But I think personally, I think we need to get back to some of the basics.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Lost that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think the trades are going to come back big time,
That's true. That's true.
uh, especially with AI coming into play big time.
Mm-hmm.
Mention that, Brian.
A bunch where you can't trust anything anymore. Between filters on Instagram,
That's correct.
everybody trying to present themselves in a way that is well received versus the actual reality of situations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And social media is
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mean, it serves a purpose for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It lets people connect.
Mm-hmm.
So far that now people are trying to present themselves in a way that isn't really reality,
Mm-hmm.
starting to shape other people's mentality.
Yeah.
That, by the way,
What's that, Brian?
use that line. That's a good line.
Oh yeah, I absolutely will lose that line.
Made it up.
Yeah. Brian, you said something yesterday when I was talking to you that I thought that was great. You said that sometimes you're able to tell, you'll ask people 3 questions, you're able to kind of tell something about them. Can you kind of break that down for us in our audience that you're mentioning to me?
I did the online dating thing, and met a bunch of people, and they're very vague questions, right? So it's basically, it's dating is an interview process, especially with somebody for the first time. It's like, yeah, tell me a little bit about yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And their response to that will give you a lot of insight into how someone perceives themselves. Like, I've given you leeway, and you're going to take me in a direction. So now I'm gaining insight.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Other one is, where are you from? Remember?
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Go ahead, Brian. Sorry.
I'm from Orange County, California. Right?
Yeah.
So I associate myself with that. Right? And that kind of gives you a demographic. Another one is, well, what do you do? I basically sell money and help people on the financial side, right? But you ask these very vague questions,
Mm-hmm.
getting responses from somebody else, you gain insight, right? You learn their thinking and how they think about themselves, which is probably more important than anything else. The fourth one that I thought about last night is, what is your one best trait?
Ooh. Yeah, that's. Sorry, Brian, I cut you off. What'd you say?
Number one best trait.
For myself?
Yeah, that's
I
a
say My best trait, it was actually a really good one because it would be one of two things. But I would say that my best trait is that I'm a person of my word. If I say that I'm going to do something, I actually go out and do it. I don't put any fluff. That goes in several areas. So if I say that, hey, I am going to go to New York City, I'm going to build my career there, I'm going to do that. If I tell you that, hey, I'm going to show up I'm going to be at this place that you need me to be there, I'm going to be there for you. If I tell you, hey, you can call me and count on me anytime, it could be, you can even give me a call. I will show up in that manner. So my thing, best quality is believe that I show up for people. I show up and I do what I say. Like my words are, people know if they hear something come out of my mouth that it's the truth, that I'm going to do it.
Isn't that very insightful about the kind of person you are?
Yeah.
Right? You read into that. Mama Rush, what's your number one best trait?
People skills.
People. That's
People skills. People skills. And I think that's my number one trait, and being truthful. Well, I have three great traits, I think, and I love. I like the fact that I have ethical values that I follow.
three. You only get to choose one.
Ethical values. That covers everything. I think that's my number one skill.
Introverted value that is incredibly important in people.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep. I sure did.
So now it's like, you're a very trustworthy individual. For me, it would be my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Right? A lot of people, especially nowadays, I don't know if they're looking for conflict or whatever else. And Brandon and I talked about this a little bit. You and I will not agree 100% on everything.
Yeah.
Right? Probably 8% of the time we will. We're on the same page to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have to agree.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to understand where you're at. And a lot of people aren't willing to do that. It's the difference between, hearing and listening.
That's correct.
I want to listen, but it takes a lot of tolerance and, understanding to sit there and have consequential conversations without argument or conflict.
That's correct. I agree with that, Ryan.
So,
yeah,
I've gone through this and thought about it a little bit. There's hearing and there's listening. There's being nice, and then there's being kind.
Mm-hmm.
There's smart, and then there's intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
There's different dynamics, and I think it comes down to the context of the person you're interacting with to a degree. So, I'm different with people on the street versus my close friends.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that I love, I actually try to cause conflict.
Is that on purpose?
The people you love or that love you the most are going to tell you the things that you don't want to hear. You can quote me on that, Brandon.
I absolutely will.
Yeah. And it's just, it's a crazy world.
Yeah, they feel that's true.
Absolutely.
But I got a great Brandon story. You want to hear a good Brandon story?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, let's hear a great Brandon story, our good Brandon story, and then I'm going to ask you a question about finance because my audience wants to know. Our audience really wants to know this one question about finance. But go ahead, Brad.
Okay,
tell me a good Brandon story.
Brandon, myself, and Christian were out at a restaurant, and we needed a ride for some unknown reason. Mm-hmm. They were in from out of town, so my lady comes to pick us up. She didn't realize that she was picking the three of us up, so she showed up in a little convertible, 2-door convertible. And we went to another spot after that. So Brandon's a big guy. Christian, who I think you had on your podcast, he's a tall guy. And we tried to squeeze myself, Brandon, and our buddy Christian into basically a 2-seat convertible. So she had to put the top down. Now you've got an Asian in the back seat, big black guy in the back seat, way forward front seat, and a Polish girl driving us down Scottsdale. Can you imagine pulling up next to us at a stoplight?
Yeah.
Looking over. That would be the most confusing thing to see ever.
Yeah.
You went out to, I don't know, some old rock or something else. And I think we were all singing.
Yeah.
We're like Queen.
Yeah.
You know? But that's just, it's funny. That's a good.
That's almost like that picture behind you.
Oh, yeah. It really is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's almost like that picture behind you. And I'm going to answer your question. Yeah, yes. So I'm going to answer your question that you asked me in the very beginning about that picture, but not right now, because I wanted to make sure that these young people out here hear this from you. What's a realistic way to become finance ready in 90 days?
Finance ready in 90 days.
That's right.
Well, like I said, it's very personal. So what I would say is live within your means. Don't keep up with the Joneses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people try to do that, in my experience. Manage, control, have a plan, have a budget. It's financial discipline. There's
Mm-hmm.
needs and there's wants, and everybody's in a different position. So when I have hard times, I always kind of budgeted and rewarded myself when I had hurdles. So it's one of those, if I stayed within my budget and I had buckets, and every month, if I met or stayed within my limits, I'd reward myself a little something.
Okay.
For me, for a long time, it was buy a new shirt. Give yourself something. Or you get a big bonus at the end of the year. You earned it. Take a little piece for yourself. Have fun. But at the same time, discipline. So you got to set some aside for the future, rainy days kind of thing.
Okay, good.
On the commercial side, what I see is a lot of people that end up getting in trouble are the ones that overextend. So growth is good. However, let's keep it here and let's not try to go here.
Oh, okay.
That has worked out for some people. I took my capstone course for my master's degree. It was taught by a very famous hedge fund manager. Very, very nice guy. I think the average grade in that class was an F. Because
average. Wow.
And he was just, but he would tell you, it's the takeaways. It wasn't necessarily the material that he was trying to teach. And he'd tell you, it's like, 80% of your money, you invest safely, find a mutual fund or an index or whatever else. Put your money in that, right? For the long term. 20%, it's your money.
Yeah.
Go have fun. It's your money. And it's fun, right? Investing. So you ever hear about the Warren Buffett bet?
No, I haven't.
So Warren Buffett bet a hedge fund manager. I think it was over a 5-year period or whatever else. Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors of all time, he said, I will take the S&P 500 versus your hedge fund, right? And hedge funds, they move money all over the place. They're always doing transactions and everything else.
Mhm.
The guy quit 2 years early because I can't beat it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that should tell you something.
Okay. Well, I tell you, looking at you, first, I want to tell you this. I meant to comment earlier, but I'm going to comment now. You talked about how you all get on there, and I think y'all date online and all that. But first, Brian, you are a very handsome man. I love how you dress. No, I'm just going to tell you this. I love your combination of that vest and that plaid shirt. I'm going to tell you right now, it caught my attention when you got online. But I just want to let you know how handsome you are and how that combination you have on is perfect for you. Perfect, perfect. Brandon, I love how you wear your vest too and your shirts and everything else. But I just love this combination. So I had to make that comment. Just had to interject that with everybody out there looking at this point. But if you're saying stay within your finances and you guys take girls out all the time, young ladies out, and how does a man trying to be budget savvy and I always believe that each person should pay his own way as far as dating, going out. I don't date after David's daddy died. He was one of my loves, and I married him and stayed with him for 32 years. But I wanted to ask that question with finance. And these girls, I guess, pick some kind of restaurants that guys I see several times say, I can't afford that. How do you address that for young people staying within the budget you just mentioned of the 20% fund?
I've got a little different approach, and I got a funny story for you.
Okay.
So a lot of people are into the glitz and glamour. And Brandon, you know Scottsdale.
Yeah, I do.
It can get a little out of control.
Yeah.
People try and prove themselves by, going out to all these fancy restaurants and everything else. And I can appreciate that. I personally think, and this is myself, it means more to make someone a meal than to buy them a meal. That's my own take.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to restaurants and everything else, if it's within your means, do it. But what are you trying to prove? What are you trying to show? Is it the real you? So the girl I'm seeing right now, she has a friend that told me that we're not dating until I take her to one of 4 places, and they're all very expensive, which is fine. Okay. So started seeing each other. We went out a little bit, not to any of these places, mind you. However, we a few months later got together with her friend and her husband, and we met up at one of these places, the 4 of us. And I looked over and I was like, does that check the box now? Right? Didn't realize
Oh, Brian, that was good. Yeah, that was good. Does it check the box now? Sorry, man.
Right, but isn't that good?
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
that's
That's
great
excellent.
because that shouldn't be a qualification of proving yourself that you're a quality guy, because a terrible guy can take you to a restaurant like that and be terrible.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, dating's tough, and
Yeah.
finance, like I said, are very personal. It's like buying a house. Everybody has their preferences.
Mhm.
I don't go with the people that give blanket advice. I
Mhm.
think especially when it comes to personal things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Love, politics, and money.
Absolutely.
They're individual things, right? Like you can't take a blanket approach. I mean, you have to give advice on, concepts. Unless I sit down with you and I know what's going on,
Yeah.
it's got to be concept.
Mm-hmm.
So stay within yourself. And again, I'm giving advice from my standpoint.
Yeah.
It might not apply. So, but the global picture, stay within yourself, uh, yeah, go to a fancy meal, meet someone, sit down, have a chat, get to know them.
Mm-hmm.
The 4 questions,
Yeah.
have a drink, get to spend some time, get to know somebody. But there's a lot of people that, and I know I've seen it, people that are just overextended
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of ways. And it for what? To what benefit?
That's right.
Think about this, friend, Mama Rush. And this might be a little bit ahead, but you eat your net worth.
Will you break that down a little bit, Brian? Yeah, you got me there. I got to admit, I'm a little stumped, but you said you eat your net worth.
You literally are eating your net worth. So you have assets, right?
Yeah.
You got your own bills and liabilities, right?
Yeah.
And the difference there is what you're worth. Okay.
Ooh.
Now, net worth is based off of your income. Income, your revenue, what you make, minus what you spend is net income.
Mm-hmm.
So what you spend, therefore, becomes what you're worth.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Well, how does inflation play a part in that?
Because if you don't spend that money, you're saving it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But you got to eat.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I think things get complicated and convoluted in the finance world. But if you can't explain it to my 7-year-old, you don't know what you're talking about.
Absolutely. Brian, Mom had a question about, I think, Mom, did you go ahead? What was that question about inflation, I think, playing a factor into that?
Yeah, of inflation playing a factor into your net. And you're not getting any raises, but you're paying higher taxes, you're paying higher premiums, you're paying everything higher. So how does all of that play into that picture?
I think you only pay taxes if you make money.
Mm-hmm.
Inflation is kind of the byproduct of domestic policies and everything. And it sucks because it's outside of your control. It's something to deal with.
That's correct.
So, the inflation comes from pumping a lot of money into the economy, and prices generally rise. And it fluctuates.
Okay.
It's hard to forecast, it's hard to manage, and it's just deal with. So,
and then if a person gets sick or hurt, that's another thing that plays into that whole situation there. I just wanted to ask that question because you look at all things that can happen in this life and it's out of your control. And then I think about people right now who've had great jobs and had to quit jobs or got laid off or downsized or whatever. But they were living at this rate, that steady rate. How do they plan for something like that? How would you plan or give them advice about planning for something like? Because they didn't plan to lose a job,
No.
but and it's tough, and they have kids that are in private schools and all that other stuff. But I see you think about that. You think about that, and I'm glad that you're thinking about it, Brian, because situation and you see it all the time. And so that's the heart. I can feel that you really think about that, and I do
Yeah.
too. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these things, the worst part is you can't forecast a lot of that stuff. You got to kind of, again, live within your means.
Mm-hmm.
Have the rainy day fund just in case.
Mm-hmm.
Budget. And yeah, I mean, stuff's going to happen that is definitely outside of your control.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, life's not fair. That's what they
Yeah.
say. So you just got to be ready. And there's a lot of people in bad situations, and
Mm-hmm.
it's tough.
Yeah. I appreciate that coming from you, being an analyst and commercial finance in that area. And I think about, I couldn't even walk in your shoes. I'm a scientist. But just with that of trying to deal with people coming in and they have debt, and you're trying to help them manage that debt, and I'm thrown into a bad situation, never had bad credit, but all of a sudden they find themselves late on different things and living within a budget. I like that you said living within a budget. And that's hard to foresee sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, when it comes to debts and everything else, it's what kind of debt. Now the professionals will tell you want to knock out the highest interest debt first, like credit, right? I don't necessarily agree with that 100%. I get the idea, I get the concept. Yes, you do. However, you have a cash flow situation, and it just needs to be managed. Like I said, finance, love, politics. It's all very personal. So, but live within your means, budget. Kind of don't keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
Don't keep up with the rushes.
yeah. Hey, I live within my budget, man. I think you
Yeah,
guys
that's
are always
right.
looking out for me because
Oh,
I
I
don't have
don't,
it like
I don't know
that.
about that, Brandon. I've seen you out and about.
Yeah.
Man can spend $1 or two.
And don't date.
Oh
Don't
yeah,
date.
I can't even afford to date half the time.
That dating is an expensive venture.
Oh,
But I like what you said. Make your cook the person something at home. That's a great way to do it. Is that, in fact, I prefer to eat at home because I know that I'm not saying this about everyone, but cleanliness to me is a major thing in cooking and baking and the kitchen. And so I deal that way. And I don't think I see some young people walk out to the back of the restaurant where maybe I'm waiting for some food or whatever to be delivered to my car. Or I go into a restroom within a restaurant, and I see they have a sign, you must wash your hands. I said, why would you remind someone wash their hands? That I wash it. So I'm not the eater. If they were depending on me to eat out, my son can tell you, Mama Rush does not eat out. She believes in eating at home because I know, and there's certain things I just have to have clean. And that's the food I eat. And I always tell people and we were at a big dinner. This is just an offset that I'm going to throw this in. We were at a dinner one time at a restaurant. I mean, a very expensive restaurant. And I had taken a class in food safety. before I went to this restaurant, I had taken a class and I had seen in the movie everything they had recorded in a certain restaurant. So we were at the table. I'll never forget it. And some people were saying, well, tell the waiter, said, do you want me to box that for you? We'll take it back and box it for you. I said, no, not mine. I'll box it myself. Please bring me the box. And so someone at the table indicated to me, well, why don't you just let them do it? I said, because you see my fork right here I'm using? When they go back there in the back, they're not going to know my fork from that table over there, someone's fork. And then they're going to box it and bring me what was on my plate, but they might have used a spoon or fork from another plate. The person looked at me and said, I never thought about it. I said, I know you did, but I saw it for myself in trying to get certified in inspection of restaurants. So when I saw that, it just turned my whole way off about what really goes on behind the scenes. And it could be 5-star, 4-star. It's according to what happens in the back that you don't see. And so just wanted to bring that point up in talking about different things. And that's another reason why I don't eat out. I don't like eating out. And since the pandemic and now different things going on, Mama Rush decided that she would order from organic places, her meats, vegetables, and all, get them picked out appropriately. And then that's what I serve my family. And that's just my way. Like you said, that's my way, not your way. You do whatever you please. That's your way, my way. And so with that, we have learned to save money.
Yeah.
Right. Just
Brian,
fixing those meals at home.
I didn't mean to cut you off, Mom.
That's
Brian,
all
I
right.
wanted to address your photo and the beautiful painting you have in the back, and at
Mhm.
least what it means to me. I believe it's a lion leading the sheep because there's wolves out there in the world. And the reason those sheep aren't afraid of that lion because they know that that lion's a leader. Another thing about that lion, and I relate to this lion, because that lion is able to walk alone. As you see in this photo behind you, there are no other lions around him, but there are the sheep that are. What's that?
Perspective. It's a ton of sheep, right?
Yeah, it's a bunch of sheep. They know
sheep.
that.
You know what I'm
Perfect.
thinking?
What's that?
The lion is protecting the sheep.
Okay.
That's exactly what I think so too. And what I see is strength versus gentleness in that picture. The strength of that lion and the gentleness of the lambs, but they all get along together in that whole area. They all get along together. And so I feel that there are people like us who are natural born leaders, like Brandon says, able to work with leaders and able to work with the common man. We show strengths and they show strengths too, because they're willing to follow great leaders and they have that gentleness. And within that lion, there's a gentle spirit as well to recognize that as a leader. A great leader does. And so that's what I've seen in that photograph. I've looked at it behind you as we've talked, and I've thought about different things about it. I'm so glad you have it behind you, because I'd like for our podcast viewers to come back and give feedback to us about what they see behind you and see you talking in front of that whole beautiful photograph behind you. Now, Brandon, are you ready? Have we finished talking because let me tell you, I had so many more questions, Brian, about finance, but you hit on several of the topics that I wanted covered, and Brandon, we wanted covered in a podcast.
Absolutely.
But within that, I thank you, but Brandon's going to do his
A lightning round
with you. It's go ahead, do the lightning round, Brandon.
Yeah, Brian, I'm gonna do a quick lightning round with you.
You have me back. I already told him.
Okay, all right, okay.
This is a to be continued no matter what.
Okay,
absolutely,
great,
Brian. I'm all for that, and thank you for that. So this is a lightning round, Brian. It's just quick, fun, meaningful things. ASU track taught you what life lesson you still use in finance?
Let's see here. There's always, it's yourself, right? You're out there on your own. Everything's very individual, right? You have your own goals. There's a guy in front of you, pass him, right? You're in the front. what are you going to do? You keep pressing forward. You do the best you can. It's very individual. You know, you gotta keep trying, right? And I was a long distance runner, right? Not a sprinter. And finance, life goals, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Let's think, long term.
Amen. Brian, I love it. That was perfect. Oh, sorry, did I cut you off? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut.
You cut me off?
Brian, one money habit you swear by: save, invest, budget, or automate. Pick one and tell us why. Save, invest, budget, or automate, and pick one and tell us why.
Invest. So investing, depending on what you're doing, is basically saving, if you think about it, right? So myself, I don't have a large checking account. I put everything in the brokerage because you know what? I buy the S&P 500 index.
Okay.
Now that'll fluctuate, right? On the long term, that's returned better than anything else.
Oh, wow. Okay.
However, you still have to have your little rainy day fund. And you got to remember the S&P 500 index in a brokerage account is very liquid because you can sell out in a heartbeat, transfer money, pay your bills.
Thank you, Brian.
And in fact, I had this discussion, which turned out to be an argument, but somebody that carries cash right now is expensive. Because you can take those dollars, and the way things have worked out, you can transfer money in a heartbeat between accounts. And you can set up a brokerage account with any of these large broker houses, invest for free. And if needed, you can liquidate, transfer your funds back to a checking. I don't understand. Well, it's a feel-good position to have a large balance in your savings or your checking. But what's your money doing? It's not working. You got to put your dollars to work to earn some sort of return. Now, there is risk involved. That is true. However, is the money needed short-term, middle-term, long-term? And like I said, things very personal. Myself.
Go ahead, Brian.
No, go ahead. Tell me what you yourself. You said yourself. You would do what for large sum of money?
Very, very small, balances in my checking account. I don't even have a savings account. I have a brokerage account, right? That's getting a return better than, your savings account would ever do. And if needed, I can sell out of that position, transfer money in a couple days, pay my bills.
Well, so that's great because what you're saying, I have to say something here, Brandon.
Oh, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Yeah. So what you're saying, if a person says, well, the reason I keep it in a checking account, because if I need that money to pay something, it might be harder if I have it invested somewhere. How would you answer that question or tell them, go ahead? What would you tell them about that?
Oh, shit.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Did you say you had a fix?
No, you're full of shit. You know, is what I would say.
Yeah.
You can go right now in about a couple minutes and open a brokerage account with any of the majors, right? You can transfer money in. You can buy something that's relative. You can buy treasuries, right? And if you need something, you liquidate and you can transfer stuff back. savings accounts are unnecessary anymore. Like it used to be. That used to be the way of things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is just some dumbass talking to you, but the way I do things is I don't have a savings account. I've got a checking account that does the month to month, right? Pays the bills. But anything else goes into a brokerage account in a very highly liquidatable state. So like stocks and equities, those can be sold in a heartbeat on the open market, right? Depending on your risk tolerance,
Mm-hmm.
you know, different for everybody.
Wow.
But that's to a higher rate of return. So money is making money.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I like that. Oh,
Yeah.
Brandon, go ahead. Go ahead quickly.
All right, yeah, Brian, I'm gonna have to call Brian do an episode going deeper into that because there's so much more stuff I have to ask you about that along those lines. So I'll come back to you when we do another episode for that. Well, yeah. Biggest myth about credit, Brian.
That the people that think that they know things and apply it across the board don't know shit.
Okay, that sounds good. Cash flow or credit score? What matters more for business and why? Cash flow or credit score? What matters more for business and why?
So credit score doesn't exist in the commercial world. They got Duns and Bradstreet, but they don't know anything. It's one of those that you only know what you're told, and nobody is forced to tell them anything. Cash flow is king.
Okay, that sounds good. One thing people should stop doing immediately with their money. What's one thing people should stop doing immediately with their money?
Holding on to cash.
Holding on to cash. Okay. Best book for someone who wants to understand money.
Let's see. Oh, that's a good one. Best book. Let's see. That's a good question.
If you don't know right now, you can always give that another time.
Well, tell me on the side.
Yeah, you can tell me the side, Brian. Yeah.
Oh, I got one.
Okay.
Finance for Dummies.
Okay.
Okay.
I know that one. Okay, Brian.
I had that one already.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay. Best starter move for someone trying to rebuild their credit.
Brandon, I got a good one for you.
Okay.
Right? So I went through the master's program at Arizona State, the WPK school.
Yeah.
And I kept my books, right? And I put them on a shelf.
Mm-hmm.
All of my books.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of damn books. A lot of them didn't get read much. And I looked at it one time and it's like, on my shelf is an $80,000 degree. You could just read books.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, I didn't think about that, Brian. You could have just got the books or say the 80,000. Yeah.
I think, and it's kind of going through the ether right now that some of these degrees are just paper.
Yeah.
The lessons are not in the lessons, especially in the MBA program. It was very different. So undergrad, they teach you like the definitions and things and everything else. Right. The MBA program was much more like working with people that in and of itself is it's a life skill. Right. I mean, I can tell you definitions and everything else of a lot of different things. I'm sorry, Brian.
Are you good?
Sorry.
It's all good. Brian, I'm not going to hold you too much longer. It's all right. I'll get these through so you can get them done. Best starter move for someone trying to rebuild credit, Brian.
Hold on. It's a big German Shepherd.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Look at my hand.
Yeah, I know how big. Oh, yeah. Oh, you got bit up.
Hey, God. Sorry, Brandon.
Oh, you're good.
That's right. I even intimidated.
Okay, Brian, what's the best starter move for someone trying to rebuild credit? I have 3 more questions, so you're almost done.
Yeah, nobody listens to me, Brandon.
It's all good, no worries.
All right, go ahead.
What's the best starter move for someone trying to rebuild a credit? So if someone's trying to rebuild their credit, what's the best thing they could do right now? Starter move.
Rebuild your credit. Well, obviously if you have bad credit, you gotta pay your damn bills.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that sounds like it.
It's you knock out the things that you can. I would not say that just because it's a high interest credit card or whatever is the best move.
Okay.
You need to take care of the ones that are, the most impactful on a monthly basis.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. And then Brian, fill in the blank. It's not too late because
you still have time.
Amen. Okay. And then here is all right. So how can people connect with you if they want to learn more, Brian? So if someone wants to learn more without feeling embarrassed about where to start. So if someone wanted to contact you is there a place that they could do that at, or?
Of course, LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn.
Okay. Under your name?
Yep.
Brian Garbe. Okay, perfect. Brian, actually, I usually ask this question. It's a really short one. If you could go back and tell your 18-year-old self anything, this is the final question. What would you do? So if you could go back and tell your 18-year-old self anything, what would it be?
Stick with it. Stick with it. Stick with it. Life is a grind. Career is going to be hard. Nothing goes up in a straight line. There was a point in time where I went through, I think, 5 or 6 jobs over an 8 or 9 year period. Mm-hmm. There's going to be successes, and then there's going to be failure, right? Anybody will tell you this. You've been through it yourself, right? And what do?
I get back on the horse, man.
You stick with it. You get knocked down, you get right the hell back up.
Amen.
And you stick with it.
Absolutely.
Well, I tell you, Brandon, I'm going to say my and then you say the end, okay? Brian, I first want to say it has been fabulous meeting you through on the screen, though you see my picture, you hear my voice. I thank you so much for coming and imparting such wisdom, financial wisdom, and just blessing this podcast today in this universe that we now hold a little spot. And with that said, I can see the strength in you, and I can see the gentleness in you, which your picture behind you shows. And I thank you so much. And I can see how you get along with others. And so we all can live together nicely in this earth. So thank you so much for that and your time.
Yeah, that's another conversation. So
Okay.
I am the white Brandon.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Brian, look, man, I love you. Thank you so much for everything today. Bro, I'm going to keep doing these conversations with you on here because I appreciate all the wisdom and advice. And thank you for making time for us today. We're about to let you go, man. But we thank you so much, Brian, for coming on today, bro.
All right. Okay, we do our thing, Brandon. What we do now?
We give everyone a clap. All right, Brian, I'll give this back over to you, brother.
Exceptional job.
You have a blessed day, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All righty, let me see here. I gotta see here.
He was exceptional.
Yeah, he is exceptional. I accidentally did thing, which is I gotta figure out how to close everything out. Hold on one second.
Oh,
All right, Brian.
Wonderful.
You have a wonderful day.